he begged for me to come lay down on the bed because I was like cleaning up my room and he would not stop barking at me. Just because he's literally laying on my leg right now. Just because he wants to like literally be attached to me at all times. Hi guys, so I have a little distraction on my lap. Today I have with me, I have Neil. Hi buddy. So Neil is my little Chihuahua puppy. In last week's video I was saying how this week I wanted to make a video about him. So I just wanted to give a little like background of where we got him from, how we're taking care of him, and just some like quirky things that the Chihuahua breed has that are good to mention. But I want to begin with how we got Neil. Over the summer, our former Chihuahua actually passed away. He had this really rare like genetic, not mutation, but genetic disorder where he had a liver shunt and then his liver was also like super way too small for his body, and I think he had brain lacerations that he was born with. So our Chihuahua passed away and we were all so very sad. He had been the first Chihuahua that we had ever owned, and actually the first small dog that we had ever owned, because we've always been a big dog family. And then we ended up rescuing another Chihuahua, but she's like a Chihuahua mix, so she's bigger, and she came from a very bad background. She was practically like skin and bones when we found her, and now she's perfectly healthy. She's super happy, and I think she's gained like 10 pounds, which is really great for her. She's so much more healthy. And so then I had no idea we were planning to get a third dog, because we also have a Boston Terrier who is like insanely hyper. But my dad calls me one day and he's like, hey, do you want to go to Goldsboro with me? And I'm like, why? And it's because actually we found this little guy on Craigslist. Here, I'll let you go to sleep. And he was only $100, and I'm pretty sure he's sort of like a micro, almost teacup Chihuahua. So those can get really expensive. Our former Chihuahua who had passed away, I think he was like $900 compared to Neil, who is only $100. So the first tip I will say is don't shop at a puppy mill to begin with, but even your small town like reputable dog pet store associations, they can be linked to puppy mills. If you are looking for a dog, try to find a reputable breeder, or just rescue animals. There's tons of animals in shelters that are getting euthanized each day because they don't have a home. But with our former dog, it's pretty much confirmed that he was part of a puppy mill, and that's why he had so many birth defects. So that has really taught us to, no matter if they say that the puppies are sourced from organic homes or like trustworthy breeders, that is not always the case. And they don't even have to give you specific evidence to be able to say like, oh no, we're not a puppy mill. I'm not sure the exact like facts and laws that go into that, but I definitely know that the pet shop that I am referencing, they have claimed that their dogs are not puppy mill dogs, but the fact that the dog we got was born with 3 birth defects that we didn't even know, and he passed away at such a young age, kind of points into the direction that says, yes, he was from a puppy mill and you guys are lying. So I will just say, though, honestly, I feel like pet stores are more expensive, but even though breeders can be more expensive, it's much more worth it. You want to have a dog that's going to live its full lifespan and not have it only live like a year or 2. I'm also not recommending shopping on Craigslist, but hey, maybe you stumble upon something like Neil and it's trustworthy and these puppies just really need a good home, then that's awesome. But with Neil, we got him and he was super small. Like, he's super small now, but like, he was like this big when we got him. He was the right age to leave his mother, although the breeder was feeding the whole litter of puppies hard food. And one thing about Chihuahuas is they can't really eat hard food at all. Like, even when they're older, Chihuahuas are the breed that's known to have a bunch of oral and like teeth malfunctions. Like, pugs have heart problems, Chihuahuas have like teeth and mouth problems. So you shouldn't really be feeding Chihuahuas hard food if they even eat hard food, because I know the Chihuahuas that we've had usually refuse to eat the hard dog food and it's much easier for them to eat soft food. But this breeder was feeding the like 8-week-old puppies hard dog food. So Neil was immediately car sick and like throwing up on the journey home. And as soon as we got home, we switched him over to soft puppy food, which was really good for him. He was actually eating like normal and he was beginning to grow. Although this ties into food, I suggest putting, it's gonna sound weird, but we have like this sugar syrup or honey. I suggest putting sugar syrup or honey into their food and like mix it in, because we had a little scare. So Neil sleeps in the bed with me or with my parents because he's so small, and we don't have a kennel for him because he's so tiny and we can just watch him. So he just sleeps with us in the bed. But one morning he was like, he couldn't even stand up on his own. He was like so like foggy and groggy, and we're like, oh my gosh, like we thought the breeder had like scammed us and we bought like a sick puppy. But then we remembered with our last Chihuahua, the people at the pet shop and the vet were like, you should probably buy this certain syrup. It's like, it's a certain tube and you can buy like dog specific ones, but it's pretty much just like honey. But they recommend that syrup because Chihuahuas, because they're so small, their blood sugar can drop. They are kind of incompetent. They don't even have the strength to lift themselves up and stand and walk. So we were so terrified, and because of what happened with our last dog, we're like, let's just take him to the vet. Like, we don't want to risk it. So at the vet, they actually gave him a shot of sugar, and that is very important for Chihuahuas. Now we mix sugar into his food, like the syrup or honey, whenever he eats, to keep his blood sugar up. And the doctor said, or the veterinarian said, that if that ever happens again, you just give him a syringe full of like sugar syrup and that should wake him up, which is crazy. So I will definitely say, if you're going to get a Chihuahua, be very mindful of their blood sugar levels because they can drop very easily. And with our former Chihuahua before that, we didn't have an issue. With this Chihuahua, we do, but that's also because we really kept up with the sugar intake, because this little guy does not like the dog formula of like the honey. So we have to mix it into his food because he won't just like take it off our finger like our former Chihuahua did. I will say a few more things about the Chihuahua breed and then I'm just going to wrap up this video. I will hopefully be able to find some more clips of Neil. Just right now he's actually like really comfy and sleeping, so I don't want to pick him up anymore. But I'll try to put in some clips. But one of the things is Chihuahuas really like to dig. So the origins of their breed, they were actually sent into little burrows of rodents, such as moles or rats or mice, and they were set in there and they would just run through the holes and grab the rodent. So because of this, they really like the digging sensation. I think it's sort of like an instinct with this breed, but some other dogs do it too, but like every Chihuahua does it, I feel like. and they'll just, I actually got a video of it, he'll just sit there and like dig if his spot's not more comfortable enough. So I think that's very funny, but it does keep you up at night when you're trying to go to sleep. Another thing is Chihuahuas either like to be at the highest point of your bed or furniture, or they like to be right on top of you, right on your lap, in between your legs because it's the warmest. So Neil either burrows deep into my blanket or he like sits at the very top of my pillows on my bed. And our other Chihuahua also liked sitting on the top of the couch. He wouldn't sit with the people sitting on the couch, he would sit like on the top cushions behind them. A few other things, Chihuahuas are very temperamental. I'm sure you know this, but just like cats, they can sometimes get very snippy. So Neil is a lot better at this than our other dog is. Neil's honestly one of the nicest Chihuahuas, but he still has his moments. So Chihuahuas really like to growl and they like to like nip at you. This most of the time is playing. If it's not playing, it's because the Chihuahua feels very cornered or maybe even attacked. But I wouldn't be alarmed as long as the bites aren't like, as long as the Chihuahua isn't snarling and like the bites aren't like big bites, like the bites aren't super hard to where they're like breaking skin. I'd say it's nothing to worry about. Chihuahuas are very playful in the like sassy sense, so they will growl at you and they will nip at you because that's just how they play. Neil trots a lot, and when he's playing he does this like hop thing where he's like hopping with his front paws. I'll have to get a video of it, but Chihuahuas have a really unique way of playing. I think it's because they're so small. Neil also likes to do like the alligator roll thing where whenever we're playing he'll find any excuse to like roll on his back and just lay there. So also Chihuahuas are kind of very territorial, especially when they're on the bed. Neil doesn't do this as much, so maybe it was just a characteristic of our other Chihuahua, but our one Chihuahua, whenever someone would enter the room and he would be on the bed, he'd run towards the end of the bed barking at them. And then when you'd sit on the bed, he'd like grab your like wrist or your hand and like nibble on it, but in a playful way. I noticed that Neil does that a lot too. As of Chihuahuas, I think that's it. When it comes to training them, I will give a disclaimer. I don't think Chihuahuas can ever be completely potty trained. Their bladders are so small. I once watched this video and it said however many months old your puppy is the amount of hours that they should be let out. So if your dog is 3 months old, they can hold their bathroom for if your puppy is 3 months old, then you should let them out every 3 hours. With Chihuahuas, it doesn't even matter if they're like 10 years old. I would still suggest letting them out every hour to an hour and a half, just because if you don't let them out, they will just go on your carpet, they will go under your beds, they will find any sneaky little place because they are small enough to do so. And most of them have no guilt about it, so it's very difficult to potty train a Chihuahua. So my biggest tip for that would just be on top of them. Don't let them like sniff around your carpet, don't let them sniff around your bed. If you just have the feeling that they need to go out or it's been a while, let them out. Otherwise, they will have an accident. So besides that, I think that's it. If your Chihuahua is so small that he doesn't fit in regular dog harnesses, guinea pig clothes and harnesses are a really great idea. That's what we have to do for Neil. But honestly, we don't put him on a leash. We just walk outside with him. We just set him down in our little bed of mulch. He does his business and I just watch for hawks and snakes, which very commonly, as soon as we got Neil, I would see like 5+ hawks just circling the skies every day. So really keep an eye on your Chihuahua, especially when they're outside, just because they look like prey, like rodent prey to the predators. I think those are all of my tips. That covers like care, temperament, food, and potty training and stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will try to get more footage of Neil. I'll maybe make like a YouTube short on it, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Stop following me. Ow!